I tried to do a butterfly themed look for this video because duh, but I don't know how I feel about it. Hey guys, it's Anarchy. Long time no see. Yeah, I know I haven't uploaded in quite a while. There's several reasons for it. I'm going to, in February, upload an update video and also an updated schedule of when I'm going to be posting where. But for right now, just to give a quick explanation, I'm moving and my place is not unpacked yet. I need to do that. And also I was moving in December, so a lot of December was moving. I wanted to make a video, I ran out of time. I have a bunch of videos planned. Stay tuned for that. But anyways, welcome to my channel if you're new, because I have a feeling you might be because of the nature of this video. I do whatever the heck I want on here. I do DIYs, I do tutorials, I talk about old cartoons that I love. I upload a lot of videos and I'm planning on uploading a variety in the future, but they're usually based around cosplay, anime, beauty. Honestly, I don't know what my niche is. I do a lot of stuff. But today's video is actually going to be a tutorial, but not a tutorial, where I'm going to walk you through the process of how I made these butterfly boots. So the story of these boots is basically that I was in Target and I saw this Rainbow High doll. It's the Poppy doll, I think the collector's edition. I don't know anything about Rainbow High. It's made by this NGA, same company that makes Bratz. But to truth be told, these dolls kind of freak me out, and I figured out why. It's that they have a realistic body, which is great, but then they have a super baby face, like almost an American Girl doll or like a porcelain doll face. And like, it makes it look like they're tall babies, and it freaks me out. And I know probably like people my age were freaked out by Bratz when I was a kid, but I feel like this is weirder to me, or maybe I'm just an old person. And now the new doll just scares me. But even like the LOL OMG dolls, like they're a little weird too. But like the Rainbow High dolls really freak me out. But they have really cute pieces and fashion on them because they're supposed to be inspired by like real pieces. These boots, as far as I can tell, I don't know if there's a butterfly boot, like a monarch butterfly styled orange boot that exists in fashion. The text on the side that says "for flying" is clearly inspired by Off-White with the quotes, and it's literally the same font, which I really, really liked. A lot of people didn't like the font, we'll get to that, but I love the font. And the biggest thing I loved, obviously, was the butterfly decal styling graphic words design at the top. I fell in love with them and I was like, I think I can make those. So I took a picture and saved it and was like, I'm gonna make those one day. So I made those boots. They did really well on TikTok. It got 1 million views in like a day, which is really good for me. Everyone wanted to know how to make them and asked for a tutorial. I thought that the process video I uploaded was enough, but apparently it was not. So here I am giving you detailed instructions, as detailed as I can get, with how I made these boots and tips and tricks for making them yourself. So the first step to making them was acquiring the base boots. I used this pair from Fashion Nova. Here's a picture of them. I normally don't really like supporting Fashion Nova for several reasons that can be documented if you Google them on YouTube. Jackie Aina has a great video on it. But I literally couldn't find an orange boot anywhere, so I just had to suck it up and order. They also had this boot, which I actually like better, and I think if you want to do this craft, you could also get this boot. It's sold out, I think, except for like a size 6.5. So if you're a 6.5 and you want to do this, I would get this one instead. It's cheaper and you don't have to do the cutting part that I did because it's already kind of the shape that I ended up making with the taller boot. So it's up to you, but if you can fit in that one and it's still available, I would definitely go with that one. I was going to order that and then it just didn't fit me. I ordered those boots, they finally came in. They were tall as heck because they like end up at like your hips, honestly, on me, because I'm 5'3". They are tall. Like, they are tall. And personally, I saw some people saying they really like these boots. I think they're hideous. But that's just my opinion. But I was very excited to change these into something else. You could also thrift and find some orange boots somewhere else, but I couldn't find orange thigh-high boots anywhere for the life of me. So, you know, if you want to use anything else, go for it. I would just make sure it's a material that can be painted on. So after I got the boots, I basically took the top part and made it so that the curve that's shaped like this connected together, and I pinned that together, as you can see right here. That was so everything would be symmetrical and even once I started cutting. So I did that on both boots, and then I measured out where I would cut. At first I cut right below where the shortest point of the boot was, because I still wanted them to be kind of high. But when I did that and I like held them up to me, I realized that they were still gonna be really high if I cut them to that point. So you only see me cutting them to that point in the video, but later I cut a little bit lower. So the exact spot where I started the lowest point of my cut of this kind of shape was right below the stitching for the extra part of the boot. So basically how the boot is constructed is it's a normal thigh high boot, and then there's a higher portion that has been sewn on to the end of the boot, to the top of the boot to make it higher. My cut, the lowest point of my cut started about 1 centimeter above that stitch line and then just kind of curved up. I really just eyeballed it and just tried to make the right shape. I would definitely leave room and just keep cutting as you go to make it look perfect. But basically what I did is I cut one boot and then took the other boot over to the other one and traced out the same shape so that they would be the same. So once I got that done, I flattened the boots out and just started painting. I did it very freehand. I literally only I didn't use the doll as a reference really, except for how far the black should go. And even that, I didn't really do exactly what the doll had, but basically I just kind of marked about where I wanted the design to end, which was about mid-chin or a little higher, and just started drawing the shape of like a monarch butterfly wing. Here's like a screenshot of my basic template that I had right before I started painting. And from there, all I did was I marked it out in pencil. Then I took a dry erase marker. I really just played this by ear. You can use a Sharpie, might be better, or just some kind of pin, just so you can see a little bit better, and then traced over every shape I plotted out, made sure it looked relatively symmetrical, and then just started painting. I used this paint. I'm literally just gonna post a screenshot because I don't remember what the brand is, but I don't think it's super important what brand you use. If you wanted to make sure it comes out right, mine worked perfect and it's dried at the exact finish I wanted and is great. You can get the exact same kind of paint, but all I did when I looked in the store was for matte. This one's soft matte, but like, which I think works because this boot is shiny, so it still has a bit of a shine to it, so it doesn't look like such a contrast. But a matte or soft matte fabric paint. I used fabric paint. I want to say that because I saw some people asking questions. The paint I used is fabric paint, just normal fabric paint. So after I did the black, then I just got a little dot tool that I got at Joann's. By the way, I know Joann sent me that gift card. This was all bought with that gift card, except for obviously the boots. So shout out to Joann's for not sponsoring this, but low-key sponsoring this. I used that dotter tool to make the dot shapes. When I looked at the butterfly again, like for reference, like a real monarch butterfly, its little white dots aren't actually dots. They're more just like abstract little shapes. But I just did dots because it was easier to keep them uniform and make sure they look the same. And from a distance, like you get the monarch butterfly reference. So I did just straight up circles, but you can do little shapes. I was even thinking hearts would be cute. But yeah, then from there, I let it dry. Also a tip, I would paint one side of the boot black, let that dry, flip it, paint the other side of the boot black, let that dry, flip it, white, flip it, white. If that makes sense, just so you don't smudge anything and so you don't ruin your workstation. Didn't spray any finishing stuff on it, although I do have that Scotchgard like water resistancy spray. I might spray that on there just to try and seal the design. But after that point, I tried mapping out the letters by like hand, but I couldn't get the font exactly right. And then I remembered Joann gave me a Cricut, I think it's Cricut. Joann gave me a Cricut machine, and I had bought a white iron-on template for it. I'm pointing over here because in my room, the Cricut's located right next to me. I remember they gave me that, so I used that and made the for flying text. I used the same font that Off-White uses, which is I think Helvetica Bold, very basic font. Yeah, just wrote out for flying. A lot of people, when I posted this on TikTok, did not like the flying text and thought it ruined it. That is like one of my favorite parts. Like I like the boots by themselves, but I think it adds like a certain edge and makes them look really high fashion as opposed to very crafty or costumey. You know what I mean? But that's just my opinion. If you do not want to do the text, you don't have to. And honestly, I don't know if I recommend it if you don't have a machine like a Cricut or some way that you can get those letters to be perfect. Because if the letters were sloppy, I definitely think it would have ruined it. So I really don't recommend putting the letters on unless you have some way to do it perfectly. Another way could be if you could print out the text on a normal piece of paper and then use an X-Acto knife and cut it out yourself on some ironing, iron-on fabric transfer things, like the white kind. But you would just, I think, have to make sure you reverse it or make sure you do it right. I'm not sure. But that, if I honestly didn't have the Cricut and I really wanted the letters, that's what I would have done. But then beyond that, if I didn't want to do that, I would have just done nothing. That's just my personal recommendation. You might ruin it if you try to just freehand the letters. Or if you want to do it like a cursive style or something, you could do that too. But like, if you want it to look like that, I don't recommend writing the letters by hand. It really, I don't think it would look very good. Yeah, then I just ironed it on and that was it. The boots were done. Here's how they came out. I think you've already seen this. Here they are. Here's one of them. You can see the for flying text. The only thing I'll note is that Helvetica, for some reason, wants to separate this L and Y a lot, so it almost looks like for Florida Ying or something. I noticed it, like honestly, after I printed it out, and I could have fixed it, but I really just was too scared. Everything was going so well, and I know myself, and I know that when I try to be a perfectionist and fix little things like that, that's where I mess up. So I saw that as a sign to not do it, just knowing myself, and so I just left it like that. But if you want to fix that, I fully understand. You just have to get it closer in your editing software or whatever you're using, or after you print out the decal, just cut in between them and then just, when you're ironing on, move the other one up. Yeah, the design, here's how it looks. If you want to take a screenshot of this so that you can map yours out to be exactly like mine, go for it. I think the dots on mine are uneven, but like the shapes are perfectly symmetrical because I would do one after the other on each boot to map them out. I didn't do that for the dots. I did it first and then I adjusted some / added some more, and like after that point is where we ran into a problem. I don't know, it looks mostly even. You can't tell when I'm wearing them unless you look very closely, but yeah, they came out absolutely perfect. To answer a few commonly asked questions on the TikTok that I posted, one question was, what did I use? What were my materials? Basically, they were the boots. Fabric pins are just pins to use to pin the fabric of the boots together when you're cutting. Good scissors. I used good fabric scissors. I do not recommend using any dull scissors for this. I would, if you don't already have some, maybe invest it or borrow some really good sharp scissors from a friend or like something, because that's the way I was able to cut it all at the same time instead of, you know, with scissors, sometimes with tough fabric like boots, you'd have to like saw at it a bit and then you're gonna get a very rough edge. These have a very clean edge because I have basically brand new, really sharp fabric scissors. A pin to mark off your design, fabric paint in black and white, and then optionally, if you want to add the letters, a Cricut. I used a Cricut Air or Cricut, not me struggling to remember what Cricut I have. It's a Cricut Explore Air 2, as well as an iron-on sheet for the Cricut, which I got at Joann's. Not sponsored, but kind of. And an iron. I say iron because that's what you should use and what I should have used. But what I ended up using was a curling wand. Like, you know, like those curling ones? Mine that I have is almost completely just a straight cylinder. And I could not find my iron because I'm moving. And so things are still in boxes, depending on like what the thing is. I basically only have like my necessities and things I frequently use out. So I couldn't find my iron because I don't frequently use it. I don't have a lot of ironing clothes. So I use that because it's, you know, hot and can do the job. I had it up at like 400. I thought I would have to have it on a lower heat, but I had it up to like 400 and that's what I used. It was actually a bit easier because I could really get in there in a way that I don't know if I could have done with the iron without like torching the whole thing. I don't know if I recommend that. That's just what I did. And if you don't have like an iron, you should have an iron. I'm just saying, if you need to, you could do what I did. Don't necessarily recommend it, just telling you what I did. And that's it. I saw a lot of people saying like, oh, I need to learn to sew so I can do this, or I need to get a sewing machine so I can do this. I can use a sewing machine. I thought I was going to have to because obviously if I'm cutting it, I thought the lining and the satin fabric were gonna separate a lot and that it would look stupid and weird. They might in the future, but the way that I cut it, I guess I cut it at an opportune place but it seems to just kind of stick together and work. And you can see, like, it comes apart, like I could do that. The only thing I might do is just glue it together, or maybe I'll stitch, no, I don't want to stitch it. I'm worried I'll mess it up. But the only thing I would recommend is maybe you could get some glue to glue the two pieces together. But when I put them on, you can't tell that that happened. They're very stiff fabrics. So when they're on the human body and even just like laying around, they don't really flop apart unless I pull them apart. They're not stuck together at all, but they're just so thick that like, that's not a problem. The only thing I'd say is some fabric glue if you really are worried about that. But like when I was wearing them being like that, it was not a problem at all. If I did this craft again, the only things I would change or do differently, I think, is just the boot I used. That boot works really well because I was able to cut it to that wing shape and get that really cool silhouette on the boot. When you're actually wearing them, it looks like a butterfly's wing, especially like this picture I keep showing. That looks like the shape of a butterfly's wing, and I wasn't fully, I did the top part on purpose, but then I didn't notice that when I bent, it looks so butterfly-like. Like that looks so cool. Speaking to that, like the fact that I got these really tall boots was convenient because I had a lot of space to work with to make a shape like that. But the only difference I would do is I would get a boot with a chunkier platform base, because these are like stiletto heels and I can't walk in stiletto heels very long. Walking around to take the pictures and shooting in these was really a struggle for me because I do not wear heels like that, like ever. Like you can even see in the videos I posted that I'm wobbling a bit and that I'm quite unsteady when I'm moving. It's because I'm not comfortable in the shoes. Like they're comfortable, but I'm just not comfortable with stick heels like that. Like they're very like hard. I don't walk in those. Every heel I have is like a chunky heel or a platform, or at least a little thicker than that. Like that's the only thing I would change. And also the original doll had a black bottom to her shoe. I think that would be really cute. I couldn't find anything like that. Like I said, this is basically the only like thigh-high boot I could find. If I had a wide access to thigh-high orange boots, those are the things I would change. But yeah, that's it. That's how I made them. But yeah, if you guys make a pair, I would love to see them. Please tag me on whatever platform you post it on. My username is Anarchy on Instagram, and It's Anarchy on TikTok and Twitter. Like I said in the beginning of this video, I'm going to go back to making normal content consistently on here, probably in February. I just need to figure a few things out first and finish unpacking my house. Also, I really want to do an apartment tour once it's all ready. So if any of that interests you, please subscribe. It would mean a lot. Also put a like on this video if you liked it. Let me know if you're gonna do this, what you think of the boots, what you would have done differently. If you're like a person who works with customizing shoes regularly, this is the first time, not the first time, but this is the first successful time I've done a craft on a shoe. I've done other shoe crafts, but I didn't like them, or they didn't turn out exactly the way I wanted. This is the first time I've done a successful one. If you're somebody who does shoe crafts a lot, I'd love to hear your tips and tricks for this. And let me know if you want to see more content like this. I know a bunch of people on TikTok said they wanted to see more videos like this, but this was such a random thing where I just saw this doll and was like, oh, I need her shoes. I would definitely be open to, I was thinking making some IRL versions of certain Bratz clothing items that I liked when I was a kid and that I don't think they sell IRL, or that I would have to customize if I wanted something exactly like it. There's one thing I specifically have in mind. So if you want to see that video, please let me know down below. And with that being said, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.